Yeah. You ready? I'll wait a sec. Hey, let me just get it up on air to chat.
Look, working. You did that last time.
You're working.
Get off.
Good to go?
With,
Get the capper
that's
on.
where we are. That's where we are. Just checking. That's not on.
It is. Hey, get it on.
Hi, Rob.
Okay. I've got my lot having a go for your best 11. I'm going to get going. Not to mind a football league. Okay, we are live across the world and we have people watching, I think. We good to go, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, we are live and broadcasting. Right, this is the second part of the night of the fans forum, so any general questions now that we held back from the AGM, so I'm sure there's plenty to go on. So who's going to start off? Please, somebody? Mike.
For the first time in a number of years, as far as I'm aware, the pitch hasn't been scalped and reseeded. Does this mean we've lost the Everton contract? Because I understood that that's what Everton required us to do.
Sammy, do you want to answer? I shall ask the sporting director, Tammy Burgess, to answer that question.
Okay, so the contract that we have with Everton is basically it was on a yearly basis. So 1 year we do it, 1 year they do it, 1 year they do it. It was 13 this year, but we got a consultant in to see if it was needed to be done because we thought it didn't need to be done and we wanted to be able to save them money so they carried on working to work with us. And also, if it doesn't need doing, then why would we be doing it? So we got a consultant in, everyone got their consultant in, put the two reports together, and the idea was reseed it, it'll be perfectly fine. And as you can see from Tuesday and out there, it's like a carpet at the minute. Again, it's cost saving that doesn't sometimes need to happen. Just because it did it in the past doesn't mean it happens again. And we have to do it properly and have the right professionals giving us the right information, so that I'm not at horticulture, I need someone to tell me if I need to receive my pitch or I need to scalp it and put it down. So no, we haven't lost the contract with Everton. They're made up with the pitch, they're still working with us. Eventually they might go with the women's team in Walton Hall Avenue, but to my knowledge it's still going this year. But yeah, we're still working in collaboration with Everton really well.
Thank you. Thanks, Sammy.
Just on that, just before we move on, just a personal word, personal, but also on behalf of the thanks. Bryn's over there. Bryn, always very, very welcome. We're in the Lease Car Lounge. You'll notice it's rebranded this year. That's partly because of Bryn's sponsorship. Stick your hand up, Bryn. Give us a wave. Come on. Bryn, also, the reason we were talking about it was last year, Bryn made a considerable contribution to the upkeep of the pitch. Bryn's a fantastic supporter of our club, and he's a great guy as well, and good seeing you tonight, Bryn.
Thanks, Bryn. Robert, try and speak into the mic. Yeah, pick it up on the system.
On a further thing about the pitch, over the years I've noticed it getting narrower. Every couple of years it's got narrower, and I can't understand why it's been narrowed. Why can't we have it wider? I mean, buy some wingers who can do the job. You can't get wingers if they haven't got the width.
I'm going to pass that over to the sport director. Just before I go on, some of you would be wondering where the manager is. Unfortunately, he had an unavoidable appointment that he couldn't get out of. He sends his apologies, profound apologies, but obviously Tammy and Andy are here to answer the questions, and I'll pass it over again.
Do you want to answer, Tammy?
Go on, Andy, let's hear from you. Go on.
I'll say first. So the pitch is like it is at the minute because that's how we've inherited it. Obviously that could change in time. We've got plans for foundations over the popular stand and putting a stand over there in the near future. So the pitch might get widened again. It's according, I'm presuming, and obviously Liam's not here to answer, he was the previous manager, is it suited their style of play? That's what it would have been. The players that they added suited their style of play. I'm not saying it's going to be like that forever and it might not suit our style of play, but with the infrastructure that we've got in place and the plans we've got for the popular stand, it might get widened, and I'm sure you will see a few wingers running this year.
I thought it was all the rain. It's shrunk in.
Yeah, obviously we're potentially playing wing backs this year, so we asked Jack Doyle if he wanted it widened and he said no. So.
Covers too much ground as it is, he says, isn't it?
You're right, you're right.
Any more, please?
I'm
Brian,
We spoke briefly at the AGM about infrastructure. How far down the road do you think you are with the infrastructure in the club, and are there plans to improve further? Because I think we need to, if we're going to go in the football league, we're going to have to be, you know, not football league, our national league would do to start with. How far down the road do you think you are with the infrastructure?
So, Potty's just whispered in my ear, one step at a time, Mr. Chairman. The answer to your question is we're looking at the wider infrastructure questions. So we're aware that if we went up into the Football League, full pyramid, our dressing rooms are not big enough. They wouldn't pass muster. We wouldn't be able to go forward. So Joseph, who's sitting in the green, is leading a piece of work that we're working with the Premier League, with the Football Foundation, to look at options about the popular side. So looking at what we can do on the popular side from a stand point of view, but a changing block, an office block over on the popular side. And so literally we've got some outline plans done already with the firm of architects. Want to talk about it, John?
Yeah, by all means. I think as Potty mentioned, it is one step at a time, and we are hostages to fortune in a certain respect, but we have had outline drawings done by a firm of architects. We are actively exploring different opportunities to turn those visions into a reality. We're fully aware of the plan and the consents that need to go along with that process, but it's certainly something that's on the agenda, and in respect to myself, it's high on my agenda.
And just to endorse that, when people go out, and you know, some of you will be there on Tuesday, you'll have seen we've taken a load of rubble from the back of the popular stands. It's already been taken away. There are some car parking spaces now. And our vision is that if we put a changing block that side, with offices above it, that then fees this side, and here in the main stand, the stuff that's the current changing areas can be utilised for, you know, corporate and potential, you know, income generating. So, you know, the vision is we would like to do that, and some of you will know me by now, I don't like wasting time. I like to drive things forward. You know, I'd like to get to a situation where we've got some outline plans by the end of this, certainly by the autumn, and I want to share that with all of you first. So this isn't going to be, here's some plans, this is what we've got planning permission for, is that okay, guys? I want to be able to get the outline plans shared with you, have an open evening like this where we have the architects here that we can talk through. We've had positive conversations with Sefton Council already, but what we will not allow ourselves to be is get to the situation where we'll be 2 promotions away, so we'll have a bit of time. But we absolutely are, I would love us to get into a situation where next spring we get planning permission, and then we can go out to tender for the actual building of the you know, the block over there, which would include, as I say, offices. We're making do with the porta cabins that have been used for years. Again, we've spruced them up, we've painted them, we've spent some money on doing it to try and give the ground a better feel. You know, and people who work in the ground every day have seen and felt that. But our infrastructure thing, we've absolutely got plans, and the plans aren't to stay in this division, and we're well aware of what we need to achieve. As Potsy's kicking me under the table, it'll be step by step, it'll be sustainable growth. but we are absolutely confident we can do it, and there are grant support available, and you know, we're excited about the opportunity. And you know, what I'd like to do, Joe, and you know, putting you on the spot, is you know, sometime autumn, October, is it, even sharing some of the outline plans that we've worked with, you know, with the wider fan group, so they can see exactly what the thoughts are.
Yeah, by all means. There's absolutely no reason why we wouldn't want to do that in any case. Obviously, it's a journey that will go on with the fans in mind. So, absolutely.
Peter, one of the questions that were raised in the AGM was about 3G pitches, and Tommy, comes to Tommy as well. Can we just put that out to the wider audience, what you said about that, please?
So what I said for clarity was we play on grass, we will always play on grass, and while we're involved, we'll be playing on grass. There is never going to be a compromise from our point of view on that one. We are absolutely committed to providing 3G pitches for the community and as well for the club. You know, the players currently train off-site, currently train at SCEM, which costs us money, and there's a journey to be had behind that. We want to do something close. We've had very productive, positive talks with Millscop School. Millscop are absolutely supportive and want to do something with us. They've got additional land, so we're having some feasibility work done on that, but we're having those conversations. We're also exploring a couple of other options, including an option in banks. We're also talking to Christ the King School, where we have our school academy, football academy based there, to see what's available. Watch this space. We want to drive this forward. We believe there is an opportunity to do it. We've got a lot of experience within the group of running actual sporting facilities. And in an ideal world, and we don't live in an ideal world, but you know, if we could get some 3G pitches or all-weather pitches to the left of us here, if we built I'll use the word a pavilion, which is a admin block, a training block. If you think it behind the popular stand, it could actually work across both, couldn't it? Because there's a gate down there that would open out into it. So, but we've had productive, open dialogue with the school, who are very supportive. We're looking at the feasibility study. There is an issue about the land, we understand. Is that right? I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, there's an issue with the peat, and the school have looked into this before, basically, and thought it would cost maybe, £500,000 to do, and I think they proposed to us it was 2.2 they got quoted, because they need to dig that deep down to put foundations in, so it's just the logistics of it, getting another feasibility study out and see where the land is at the minute, and the peat and where it's up to, basically.
Sorry, good.
Okay, Mike?
Try and speak in Southern.
My ears picked up when I heard the popular side mentioned. As somebody who stands out in all weathers, is there any prospect of a bit of cover over there?
Absolutely. I'm going to hand over to Joe. So, Joe.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, we've had some outline drawings commissioned. We are exploring grant funding opportunities to bring that into fruition. And as Peter mentioned, as soon as we have some firm drawings and feasibility to say that it's possible, that's something that we'd love to share with the families at a similar style event. I think Peter mentioned it around the autumn time. So hopefully, that's a time scale that we can work towards.
We absolutely see the popular stand. You'll all know there's land behind it, there's opportunities to do stuff. We can widen the pitch, that's very much something we've spoke about. We want to try and do it this, again, I keep using the word in a joined up, sustainable plan. This isn't about, great, we're going to build a new, let's be sensible, let's do it in a step by step. There is grant support. I'm hoping that there will be a football regulator. The government, it was in the King's speech, there will be a football regulator, and we hope some of that money will trickle down into exactly this sort of thing that we can tap into, because we all know the money's kept at the top, and that needs to be changed, and we're hoping that a regulator will enforce some of that, and through ground support and ground improvements we hope we'll be able to do it. But the popular side, and I was told, and you may be able to tell me if to say, that some of the sleepers came from Old Trafford circa 1956 or something, that actually came from Old Trafford, and they're still being used over there. So, to be able to, bring that side of the ground up to the, never mind the 21st century, but the 20th century would be an absolute aspiration for us.
Good to hear him calling the popular side. That's his proper name. A lot of
No,
people get it wrong.
no, don't worry.
Maybe he call it the right name. Anyway, Brian again.
Try and keep it.
Are you happy with the training facilities that are available to the players this season?
So Tammy and Andy's going to take it first because he's there every day.
Yeah, so they've developed a lot over the last 12 months, to be honest. Obviously, JMO is a public place where we have utilised an area in there and taken over an area. Basically, when Skelmersdale were playing there, they developed a part underneath, if you like, where they built changing rooms, they built a bar area, and one or two other bits. But the pitch failed the bounce test, I think, so they had to go and play at Burstow. So that area down the bottom of JMO was unused. So when Jim came in, we approached them with the backing of the board. We sort of took over that area. Instead of now turning up to training on the side of the 3G pitch, kicking the trainers off, putting the boots on, and training and then getting off, we now have that area where we meet. We've got a meeting room in there where we do analysis, where the lads can come in and do prehab, can do activations, the physio can do rehab in there. We've got a couple of bikes in there. As I say, we do analysis where we go through previous or footage of previous games, where we look at the next opposition. Last season, we were locked into using a third of a pitch. This season, we've got a full 3G pitch, which is massive. It allows us to do far more in terms of preparation for games. That's huge. That might come down a little bit when the winter bookings come into effect, but it'll only come down a third, so we'll still have 2/3 of a pitch, which, trust me, is huge in terms of being able to prepare for games and being able to do a hell of a lot more in terms of team shape and phases and patterns of play and things like that. So in the time that Jim's been at the club, the training facilities and the environment that we're able to train in has come on leaps and bounds, and that's a huge benefit to us, and I think the rewards have been shown already. That it's a huge positive. But we've created a good environment there. Jim's very much about culture and environment. That comes from us. That comes from where we ask the players to come into. When they get to training, they now have social time and are able to sit down, have tea and coffee, have a chat. And I know that sounds really basic, but it's important when they're part-time players. So yeah, that's come on hugely, to be honest, in the last 7 or 8 months, and we're comfortable with what we've got, although it's not ours, and obviously it takes a large amount of our money to pay for it. But you know, we are where we are, and until we get our own, we're certainly making the best of the situation.
And just to add to that, I spoke probably the very first time I spoke to you. We're a semi-professional club, and I want us to have a professional attitude in everything that we do, and absolutely that includes training, it includes analyticals. One of the first things we did was buy analytical vests for the players to wear so we can do the analyticals. You know, the world we live in, there's so much science in football now, it's remarkable. But we can't be behind, pardon the pun, we can't be behind the ball when it comes to this. And so that science, that analysation of the players, the mistakes the players make and the good things that the players do, he's doing it in a very professional way. And we are on that journey to be able to get there. It is a journey, but we are trying to, we put in things, but you might think are little things. So when you're going to a long away journey, and you've looked at, I'm sure you've looked at the fixtures, there's some long away journeys, some of you go on them, you know what I mean? So long away journeys, but stopping for a meal on the way. Never used to do that. They stop for a meal on the way. We pay for that meal, so do the maths. We pay for that because we're trying to get the players as professional as possible when they get to the underground and not just snacking on bags of crisps or whatever. After the match here, we put on food for all the players. Got rave reports on Tuesday night. So again, we're trying to do the science, follow the science. And I know that from the players of the squad that and this will shock people who know me well, I don't get involved in the training, I don't take training, I don't try and pick we've got what I believe to be a really good management team, led by Jim, supported by Tammy, by Andy, and we've got Alan, the new coach. We've also got a goalkeeping coach as of this year. It's about, we talked about investment in infrastructure. If you don't get the infrastructure, if you don't get the foundations right, things won't be, when you're building up, it won't be successful. And there's a local example of that. God love them, Prescott Cables, and the problems they're going through over the last 48 hours. There's a local example. You have to plan for the future. You have to plan for the way, what happens if? What happens if we get promotion this year? But don't worry, we've got a plan. Don't ask me to show you it, but don't worry, we've got a plan.
Can I do an online one here? This is definitely for Tammy. I think she knows what's coming here.
All right, does she?
Oh, she does. When will the club reveal the home and away kits, and when can the fans buy the new shirts? So go on, Tammy, I'll set you up for that one.
Move this way now.
Yeah, so Patrick is our provider of our kits. We had a marketing strategy of them that we tried to follow. Joe's team did that. It was it wasn't where we wanted to go with it. The reason it hasn't been out there yet is because the club hasn't actually received the kit. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to launch the kit with all our new players wearing the kit and seeing it rather than just being a visual. Me and Joe had a long discussion about this, and I think we've got to the point where we're going to have to put the visual out. We hope it'll be here. No, it will be here before the season starts, but we will have to go with the visual. And really, it was just our marketing strategy about getting players who were new players coming in, wearing the kit and showing it off on a more marketing strategic social media thing Joe's team does. But they will be going out this week, and they will be visuals rather than the actuals.
Just to add to that, I'm sure you will believe me when I say we are very frustrated at the delays. You can imagine how frustrated we are. And I know there's a Zoom call with them on Monday afternoon. We are frustrated. The delays sit entirely on their side of the table, not our side, I can assure you. When you see the visuals, I think you'll be pleased. The feedback we got from Tuesday night was very positive. From the kids, and it's a journey. We are frustrated, we are fed up, we are a little peeved, but you know, we've just got to grit our teeth and get to it. And as I said, we've got a meeting with their senior members on Monday, which Tammy will lead on, and I may raise my voice, but you know, we'll get there. And the kit's great. Wait till you see it. Kit's great.
Joe, you want to add?
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, I just echo what Tammy and Peter have said there. It's definitely not the one to try. We'd love to have announced the kit with a thorough marketing strategy that we provide in coordination with Patrick. The logistical issues that Tammy's mentioned, that's not been possible. I think we've now come to, well, obviously we've actually had enough people on Facebook and Twitter telling us that we need to get it out of the side of it, you know, profession's the enemy of good and all that. So yeah, we're going to hopefully share it with you to the best of our ability this coming week. And as Peter mentioned, I'm sure those who purchase kits will be really happy with it. It does take inspiration from the town of Southport. I think hopefully people will feel some ownership with the kit. So yeah, haven't seen it, it's really good.
Could you just do another online one? How does the club plan to attract and bring the town, bring the town in to make the people of Southport proud to support their local team?
Success on the pitch. Success on the pitch. Listen, we've got a fantastic nucleus of passionate, committed fans who are here. We were here on wet and windy, freezing cold Tuesday nights, and we'd still get 600, 700, 800 people turning up to support the town. But what we have to do is widen that appeal. And so what we're trying to do with young people, we give 100, these are sponsored, these are paid for tickets. So we have a sponsor who pays for 100 tickets every week that are given out through our community foundation. So they go out to schools, they go out to older people clubs, and we're trying to encourage people to come along to do that. But the key is success on the pitch. You look at the other clubs and the other teams that are at the top of the league and look at the gates. There is no reason if we are not successful that we won't average 2,000 people. And that is our first target, to get up to an average of 2,000 people. And if we're successful on the pitch, and successful again, stressed at the AGM, this is not promotion or bust, that is not the attitude we've taken. We want to be competitive. For those of us who are here Tuesday night, how many was here Tuesday night? If anyone walk out the ground thinking, do you know what? That's got a potential for a team, that is. 10 players signed. We've got a potential. We're not going mad. You know, Dan came up to me after the game and said, it's promotion or bust, you know what I mean? Thanks, Dan, you know what I mean? We are keeping our feet on the ground. But you know what? There are some good players out there. And we were not lucky to beat Preston, a championship team. We were not lucky to beat them. We deserve that win. And the Preston managers and the coaches, you know, acknowledge that. So we deserve that. We've got to do it on a cold and wet, windy night in wherever. Of course, you know, season's a 9-month season and we've got to work hard. But what we've done is supported the manager and the management team to bring in the right players. The only advice I said is we want to play good football. We want to play the ball on the ground. We want to try and beat teams by being better than them. And it's not criticising anyone, but we want to be better than just scrambling around with a chance from a corner, much as we enjoy goals in the 92nd minute from corners and stuff like that. But what we're saying is we want to play good football. Jim believes in good football. Andy, something they're passionate about is playing good football. We believe in it. Let's try and do it the right way, let's try and maintain it. But the answer to the question is we'll get people through the doors if we're successful. So that's what we're going to try and do.
Okay, we have got a couple more online ones. We'll do an in-house one first.
Hi, yeah, just an observation really, going back to talk about pitches and stuff. I just caught Lisa and Andy the other day on telly, I don't know if you did or you were aware of it, but she was talking about a demand from football clubs to possibly take over ownership, responsibility for playing fields nationally. And there may be some demand for that at a higher level up the pyramid. And I'm just thinking of where we're situated and Bill's Cop and so. I know you can't commit to that sort of thing at the moment, but is that something you think we might even look forward to, you know, in terms of a campus even?
Bizarrely, we've been having these conversations literally in the last 48 hours, haven't we? So, in the Liverpool area, there has been what's called asset transfers. Tammy and I were involved in some significant asset transfers in Liverpool for sporting facilities, where instead of closing them, because councils have got no money to actually work with the community to keep it open, and it's not just sporting facilities, it's libraries that we're involved in and things like that. And so we are actively looking with partners to do that. And one of the places that we're looking at, Mike, you only talked about it before, is a covered facility. And in the wider Sefton area, and we will absolutely love to work with our colleagues in local government to see if that is offered there. You're aware we work with Christ the King's School. We don't know exactly how many young people we will have in September, but you've got over 50 applications, I think, haven't you?
The immediate thing that sprung to my mind when she said it was Mills Park near.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
they might
because
want to
it's
keep
so close,
moving
I
there.
don't know, you know, you don't know anything about it,
So
but-
currently with Mills Cop, the community teams use that, and
Yeah.
the community teams fund to keep that upkeep of it. So Southport Football Club's community teams are actually working with them already on the winter months. No one's playing on it. Again, it's waterlogged, it's etc. So it's about having the right facility there. So not necessarily, we'd love everyone, all these young people to play on grass and all that, but just with the weather in this country, it's really not feasible to do so. We need to have more AstroTurf facilities at quality standards. So we're not talking all-weather pitches, we're talking 4G pitches where it's not going to impact on their joints, their knees, etc.
If they were prepared to, hand stuff over, we could do that.
We have done that. So Tanya and I have been heavily involved in this in other areas, and we've been absolutely do it. And we were literally having conversations in the last 48 hours to reach out to colleagues in West Lancs and South Sefton to see if there's any availability, and we will absolutely look at that. It's something, it is the future, and I think, you know, football clubs are the pride of communities. And you look at what's happened in areas like Bury and things like that, when you lose a football club or it should be an anchor organisation for the community. It should be open and accessible, which is what we're trying to be. It shouldn't just be open on a match day. It needs to be part of the wider community, and I think that's the journey that we're on. We've only started on the journey, but watch this space, we'll be doing more.
Peter, do another in-house.
I know we want to be successful, but surely to be successful we've got to have a better training system, hybrid perhaps, like Alti went that way, before we ultimately go full-time if we go up the leagues.
I'll let the team answer that.
I think the hybrid system is probably the worst possible option that you can take. It takes so much logistically, financially. I don't think it really gives you any benefit. You look at Chester last year, who were hybrid. Did it give them any benefit? Their budget, having known what their budget is, having seen that, for me, the hybrid system is a token effort, and I think clubs who have had the hybrid system, I wouldn't say any have been specifically successful using it. Obviously, full-time is a different kettle of fish, but to transition from part-time to full-time football is massive. It's not just as easy to say, do you know what, lads, we're going to train every day next season. Players have got real good jobs that you just wouldn't get them out of those jobs into playing full-time football, as much as all of us here, and I'm sure lots of people here would say, being a professional footballer, you'd leave any job to go and do it. It's not as simple as that. So the financial implications of going full-time from a part-time model is huge. Personally, at this level, I don't see, Scunthorpe were full-time last year, South Sea Shields were like full-time last year. Tamworth were part-time, trained once a week most weeks, and won the league at a canter. So, I don't think it's particularly at this level whether you are full-time or part-time. I think it's how you are part-time or full-time. And I think if you manage yourself properly, if you put the right systems in place, if you create the right culture and environment that we're trying to do, then I think that's the most important thing. I think if you step up a level, I think it's a different conversation, because there are I think, 95% of teams in the National League are full-time, but whilst I understand the argument, I think it's too simplistic and too easy to say being hybrid or full-time gets you success at this level, because I don't think it's as easy as that. I think it probably generates more issues than it does probably commit you to success or guarantee any type of success, personally. That's only my opinion, obviously, and you'll probably come back and say, there have been examples where it has worked, and that's fine. But I think that the commitment and what it takes to go full time is huge, and I'm not convinced that this level it's necessary to give you success.
Okay, can we do another online one? What will the club do with regards to fans egressing the stadium as cars still come down Hague Avenue? Could the club work with partners to get the road closed for 15 minutes after full time? Not seen that one before.
I've not heard that one before. What I touched on earlier on that for the first time, as far as I'm aware, there will be off-road parking, both at Millscop right next to us, but also Millscop main car park at the bottom. There's also some car parking available actually on the ground now. At the back of the popular side, there will be that. So we're trying to, be good neighbours to our neighbours and try and keep roads off. I've never heard that question asked before about the road being closed. We can certainly have a conversation with Sefton and see what they think. I wouldn't have thought they'd be receptive to closing the road just for us.
And the only time we've done it was Sheffield Wednesday when we had 5,000 gates on.
I don't think that's likely, but would we obviously have that conversation should there need be? Yes, but I don't think it's a priority right now.
Thank you, Peter. Brian.
I think we have 21 players signed up at the moment. What kind of size squad do you think we're going to go with this season?
Yeah, spot on. 21 players is what we've got at the minute. There's likely to be a bit of news on that shortly, this weekend or start of next week.
There will be.
Thank you. Yeah, the chairman says there will be one more. So yeah, we've added somebody to the squad today that'll be announced shortly. Obviously 22 into 16 doesn't work, so you know, we've already had conversations with 1 or 2 about potentially going out on loan, and you know, there's no point in us having lads sat in the stands. We've got 1 or 2 younger lads in the squad who need to benefit from going out and as Jim says, getting wool on their back in terms of playing men's football. So yeah, you know, you're always going to have injuries, you're always going to have suspensions, so we have to have a squad that's competitive, and you have to have a you know, a contingency for those situations. So we were comfortable at 21. We've had the opportunity, as I say, it's popped up to bring another one in, so that'll be 22. I'd be very surprised if it goes beyond that. So that's a number we're comfortable at, and we found ourselves at.
I'm going to interrupt this to make an important announcement, and it's going to be very disappointing for the ones who are watching online. Our friend Bryn says the drinks are on him for anyone who wants to drink at the bar. So seriously, I ain't joking.
He's just gone very pale though.
The drinks are on him, so...
Just keep it going for another 10
Yeah.
Tammy. But it actually says, will the blue third kit, and I thought it was black, but will the black third kit be available to supporters to buy? It looked great.
Yes, it will be available to buy. Home kit is gold and black. Home kit is gold and black. Away kit is blue like it was last year, and the third kit is black and blue. It is the third kit. We've officially registered with the league, so it is a third kit. Andy will tell you a little bit more about that. We can use this in the league.
Yeah, I've seen 1 or 2 people say you can't use a black kit or a dark kit in the National League. That rule was relaxed last year in the National League and this year in the North and South, as long as the referee knows and doesn't turn up wearing a black kit. So, yes, that is allowed.
You're not going to credit my performance last week?
The rest said about your
Congratulations to Joe, by the way, because he's moving up the ladder for referee. He's going to be one of our own refereeing one day in the Premier League, won't you, Joe?
He actually refereed an in-house game last week, but as somebody says, we better not talk about that. Any more in-house?
Can I just ask what the thinking is behind arranging a pre-season friendly in Belfast? It's hardly convenient for Southport supporters, and the cost of the transport and accommodation must be huge. Is the club getting value for money in that respect?
The club isn't paying for it, so Big Help Group is paying for it, so you might want to ask whether the Big Help Group can play. Last year we went to the Alemannia, it was a very successful trip. Some people went, while I absolutely accept it's not round the corner. We actually looked at going further away, Gibraltar and things like that, and for cost reasons we've kept it relatively local. You can get a ferry from Liverpool. I'm going over on the ferry. And so, you know, next year we may look to get some sponsorship towards it, Darren, to that sort of thing. But, you know, it's a difficult one because you can't please everyone all the time. We discussed this with the manager and the management team, so Andy's going to come in.
Yeah, listen, we've got 11 new players, we've got a new coach, we've got a new performance analyst, we're a new group together. What going over to Belfast for 4 days will do for the group is phenomenal. It will bring us together, we'll be living in each other's pockets for 4 days. You know, you'll be sort of, I'd say, going out and letting our hair down a little bit and hearing the new lads sing and things like that. You know, what it does in terms of team spirit and togetherness is huge. So, you know, again, the club backing us and the club allowing us to do it is massive. Genuinely, these type of, you know, I've been on many of these as a player and as a staff member, and what it does in terms of bringing people together, learning about other people. Doing the room list last night with Jim at training was phenomenal because we were going to put Lloydie and Marcus Carver together in the room, and then we decided that probably wasn't the best idea. But no, what it does in terms of team spirit and team togetherness, especially when we've got, say, 11 new recruits, is massive. So again, you the club allowing us to do it is fantastic, and it will generally be vitally important to our pre-season preparation.
And most importantly, as we did last year with the Isle of Man, if any fans over there track us down after the match on Saturday night, the drinks will be on me in that part. So there you go.
Look forward to seeing who can make it.
Couldn't it be done a bit nearer though?
It's genuinely not far, and as a foreign pre-season trip, we did genuinely look. Some of the people know we looked at Gibraltar because we've got business contacts in Gibraltar. We did look at Gibraltar, but for financial reasons, we didn't go there. Currently there are clubs at the same level as us going in different places. We have an aspiration. We've brought 10 players into the club. We have to, potentially 11, we have to build that team spirit. Tuesday, people wouldn't have known their names. Pass the ball, Bob, you know what I mean? Who's Bob? You know what I mean? Didn't know we had a Bob. I don't think we had a Bob. Anyway, but the whole point is, it's about growing team spirit. And, Everton are in Ireland as we speak, I think we're playing Sligo Rovers. I think it's good for us to have big aspirations. I think it's good for us to be able to say, remember I said, professional in a semi-professional atmosphere, and I think to give our players the taste of what the real life is, of being a full-time professional footballer, I think it's a real opportunity, and that's why we as the board decided to support the principle.
I can't tell you where, because I know that Chorley were at Alicante training last week.
Really?
There you
go.
Kurt and the women's shop playing the match in Jersey last week.
There you go.
Okay.
I mean, there's been a lot of interest from the fans anyway, so we should have quite a few over there.
I'll take back what I said. It's going to be down in a couple of...
Okay, just try and take a couple more, and then we'll wind it up because we're getting close to the hour.
Cheers. Can I just give you two quick ones? Did the club oppose the idea, well, it's happened, the no replays for FA Cups after the first round or whenever? And also, thinking on to the end of the season, guy who, a good number of years ago now, spent 3 months on loan here, he keeps saying how grateful he was to this club. Goalkeeper at Arsenal, Mr. Martin, could he come and do an awards evening at the end of this season?
It's not, what's his name?
David Ray.
David Ray. Yeah, do you know what? We've all seen his tweets and stuff like that. He's very supportive, fantastically supportive. And we have spoken about touching base with him. So, Sen, the answer to your question, we'll give it a go. We'll try and get him back to do it. So, absolutely. So we'll give it a go. Darren, there's one for you, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we're making roads with his agent. I know that, like you say, he's been very, very commendable in terms of his time at Southport and how grateful he was for his time here. So I think it's a very good idea. In terms of getting names from previous that have gone on to achieve great things within the football club elsewhere, absolutely, we'd love to bring them back.
Get Dion back, that's more realistic, I think.
Any more for any more?
I know I mentioned it at a previous Friends Forum, but could we get around to doing away travel for matches, please?
Anybody think that offers about away travel to matches? Anyone?
Okay, I mean, you're right, it has been asked, and there were some away travel coaches organised. The answer to your question is we have supported financially away travel. Bryn has supported financially away travel, and we've supported financially to allow people to get on it. Bryn, you've been on some of them?
I've met sort of the away ground, but I mean, my opinion, the problem is, with the greatest respect, some of the people it may have attracted are not what you want to be involved with. And they've caused shit at the ground, which is not what...
That's a technical phrase, by the way.
I think we'll bleep that out on the...
And also it's very difficult to get people of a sensible nature to go on the buses who are prepared to give up their trip to actually say, don't do that, lads, don't do that, but please don't do that, you know, so...
I will give a commitment that if there's a particular match that we think it's appropriate, then we will try it. Unfortunately, the society we live in, sometimes people, spoil it for all the people, and we're the ones who have to deal then with the pushback from police and organisations there, and it's not a good thing, but it's just the reality of the world that we live in. But we will look to try. We'll pick again. Listen, we've got fantastic news this season. We've got a Sefton local derby coming up, and I'm sure we're all looking forward to welcoming the noisy neighbours from Marine to hear and us to go there.
You might be.
You can tell from Rob's face. And if we had people who said we want to go to Chester, let's look. We'll put something out on the socials and see. I'm sure we can get some sponsorship. But do you know what? It is disappointing when we get fantastic games and fantastic crowds. So Chesterfield, we had issues at Chesterfield. Scunthorpe, when they came here, they brought a really good crowd, and there were no issues here in the ground. But there was a pitch battle at the station, and we got hauled in for the police to say, what are you going to do about it? Well, it wasn't in our ground, it wasn't outside our ground, it wasn't. But there was trouble. They'd organised it online. They'd met outside the station, and there was a fight, and somehow we're dragged into that. Unfortunately, we live in this world that it is, and we just have to accept it. That doesn't mean that we won't look at opportunities. We absolutely want to do. I want to encourage young people to go to away games. It's part of life, it's part of growing up, isn't it? So we want to try and do it, but we'll have to do it in a managed way. So we will try another pilot. I can't promise how that's going to go, but we'll give it a try.
It's getting people to run them as well, Peter. No, I've done it, and I know Dan's done it. It's a thankless task, isn't it? It's a pain in the bleep. Put that one out as well. Okay, a couple more minutes. So, any more?
This one's for Andy. How much do you take into consideration when you're planning a game, the weather? To me, we play on one of the windiest pitches, except maybe in Canby Island or something like that. But the time and time again you see the goalie and things up in the air and it's coming back to him. Because of the wind. You just look at the flag in the corner. You think, well, have we got some contingency plans so you're going to bloody game?
Yeah, it's just the first time we've ever been asked a question about how we deal with wind.
Look, he's not here, and I doubt he'll be watching, knowing Jim. But what I will say is, we've got a manager who absolutely is meticulous in his planning, like I've never seen, without any shadow of a doubt. He looks at every permutation, he studies the opposition, he looks at pitches, he looks at width of pitches, he studies set pieces, he studies everything. And certainly, he looks at and takes into account environment that we go into. So, if we go into a 3G pitch or a 4G pitch away, we'll take that into account in team selection, in style of play, in system of play. And absolutely, we know we're a ground that is open to the elements, should we say. I know certainly, I worked under Liam only for 3 games, but Liam always said at 4:10 the wind changes in this ground. I don't know, Potsy, if you know that. I said that to you, but Liam always said at 4:10 the wind changes from one end to the other. But certainly, Jim is somebody who takes everything into account and certainly relays it to the players. So, in answer to your question, yes, we do take everything into consideration. We do, you know, I'm not saying we change a team to contend with the wind, but certainly, you know, everything selection-wise, system-wise, is considered before we go out, and we try and give the players information surrounding that. But it's a good point. You know, I'll pass it on.
Sure, no, responsibility.
That's not a big issue. You would say it's generally got an issue with wind.
Any more in-house?
It was just going back to the away travel stuff again. I was just a suggestion, like a lot of clubs they have like a travel club where they have a membership. I'm just wondering if anybody could take that into note about a membership or something.
Again, it's, as you're well aware, that's been tried in other areas, other clubs. There's international clubs who are around travelling. It's something we can look at. We've been talking a lot about infrastructure growth. You know, having someone to do that. Usually that falls into some volunteer to be able to have to pick up the slack. I won't say we won't do it, but we'll have a look at it. I'll speak to the team, see if there's anybody, you know, who would like to even try and do it. Doesn't necessarily stop people misbehaving when they're
but the misbehaving, you can take a membership away.
Absolutely, and you know, we will absolutely have a zero tolerance for people misbehaving, whether that's, you know, in our name anywhere or on the ground, and we do take a robust attitude to do it. So I'll take it under the point. It's a fair point. We'll take it up. We'll see what we can do.
Okay, any more?
Yeah, one for you, Rob.
Pardon?
One for you.
One for me?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Okay. Your first programme of the year, season,
Yes.
can we have pen picks for all our players?
We already have, it's already in print. Or part of it is. Of course. Oh, Brian?
Just a quick one really. Last year our disciplinary record was not great and it nearly cost us at the end. It was very worrying at the end. Are we sort of, presumably that's one of the things we vet players and sort of, you know, have words with them or whatever.
I mean, first of all, I'll pass it to Andy. You know, it was concerning. We were at the games and, you know, it was frustrating. There was one particular game, and, you know, there was one particular player who was frankly very annoyed on the other team, but he ended up getting two of our lads sent off, and I was disappointed. Andy?
Yeah, 100%. You're spot on to bring it up and to mention it. Nowhere near good enough. As you said, it almost cost us last season. One thing that I think everybody has seen that this season we have tried to bring in more experience. We've tried to bring in better characters, people who are characters who are going to, as I mentioned before, buy into culture and an environment, and that comes under discipline. We are putting things in place and have put things in place already that mean that players will be hit hard if disciplinary lines are crossed. We haven't yet, but we've told the players that we will have a leadership group of 5 players, which are very much going to. I think England had one at the Euros. I think Jim's had them at previous clubs. I've certainly had him at various previous clubs as a player. They're going to lead the group. They should be able to lead the discipline of the dressing room. We're putting together a code of conduct for the players, which wasn't in place before. It's in depth. It's complete. It means players will be hit hard if they do cross lines. We have to be disciplined off the pitch to be disciplined on the pitch, and that again comes back to culture and environment in and around the training ground, in and around the ground. We have to have things in place where players, you know, footballers it depends when you're watching, but footballers by nature aren't the most disciplined of characters, so they have to have structure. You almost have to be a father figure or a school teacher to them at times, and we understand that. Jim understands that, and you know, when Jim came in last season, it's difficult to implement the things that, and this isn't saying what was before Jim wasn't right, but you know, Jim's got his own ideas about how to implement things into the dressing room, and it wasn't right to do it mid-season. So we're starting afresh, and certainly the ideas that Jim's got to put in place in terms of those disciplinary things off the pitch and around the football club, in and around the training ground, in and around the stadium, working, doing things within the community, doing things in and around the ground on match days, players coming into the bar after games, hugely important, didn't happen enough last season. Things like that should all feed back, and I can only ever go back to my career. The best environment I was ever in was when I was disciplined off the pitch, and I was at a football club where discipline off the pitch was massive. On the pitch, it mirrored that, and we have to put that in place at this football club, that the players are disciplined off the pitch and they take that onto the pitch. But we hope and we think that we've recruited a group of players this year that are men, that are sensible, that are disciplined. Don't hold me to that, because if Marcus Carver headbutts someone on the first day of the season, we can't. But no, listen. We hope we've put together a group of players this year who are going to represent the football club correctly and with the right standards, and that's the big thing this year. We want standards on and off the pitch to be as high as they possibly can, and if they are, then hopefully all of us will have a successful season.
Great answer, thank you. We are coming up to the answer. Can we just finish on one? This is for all of you, really. Ambitions on the pitch for the season.
Well, I've already said, but we set out to be competitive at the top end of the pitch, at the top end of the table. That's our vision. We want to be competitive. We want to be in and around there. We have not set any targets and said we've got to get into the playoffs or promotion. That's not it. It is steady growth. We want to not be looking. We don't want to have the last few weeks again that we've had. We want to be able to look forward, look up, and be positive. And that's our ambition. I don't want to, I've seen some of the stuff on social media. I've seen some reporters saying, look at the signings South Dakota made. And you know what? I think we've made some terrific signings. I think the team have done really, really well. And just to endorse what Andy's just said, the character of the players was something that Tammy was keen to get, and the Weezer board wanted to get. It's character of the players, the right characters to join a team. And in a team, some people need arms around the shoulders, some people need kicks up the backside. It's like any team in any setting. But the characters of the players are important. And we believe we spent a lot of time. They haven't just willy-nilly. We were getting some stiff, but where are we going to sign players? We haven't got a team. We looked at a lot of different players to try and bring in the right players. We want to be competitive. I'll be disappointed if we're not competitive. We've absolutely supported the manager and that to do that. I don't know if Tammy, you want to add anything?
Yeah, obviously we all want to be competitive, success on the pitch, success for the whole club. We have brought, it's going to be 11 new players in. We have to be realistic. They've got to bed into each other. We don't want people running off with we're going to win the league and all that. That adds massive pressure on the players. We will be competitive, but we just need to be realistic as well, and put yourself in their shoes, and they are a new group of people together trying to find a feet, and hopefully we'll have a successful season on the pitch.
Andy?
Yeah, look, one thing we identified last season in terms of the group of players that we had, they were a nice bunch of players, but we lacked a little bit of know-how. We lacked players. I think we had one player who was a signed player who had won a promotion before. Knight Phillips has won, Knight Percival has won 6. So we've brought in players who are used to success and want success. So we've got a group now who are determined, who are focused, who are passionate, who are driven, who have had success before and want to achieve that again. But we'll only do that together. We need the fans behind us, we need the supporters with us. We'll go through some bad periods, we'll go through some difficult times, but it won't be without a lack of trying. It won't be because anyone's down tools. I'm convinced that this group of players, attitude-wise, are the right ones for this football club. And you know, every single one of them has come here for the right reason. As Peter said, we're on budget. We haven't thrown the kitchen sink at it by any means. We've been sensible with it. Jim's reputation and Jim's ability to attract players has meant that we've been able to put together a really, really competitive squad. And internally in here, let's give it a right good go. Let's work our socks off. Let's enjoy the ride and see where it takes us. And I think we'll be competitive, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Andy. Final word, Peter.
I just want to say thank you to people. You know, we had the first game Tuesday night, and those who were here, you can see the infrastructure. I mean, look at this room, look at the building. Down this end of the table, we've got amazing people, amazing group of volunteers who come along not just match days, every day, and I'm so grateful to that team of volunteers. And thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I want to thank Simon, who's coordinated all this in-house work, everything from physically in the bar. Look at this. Look at these rooms. They're fantastic. The facilities that we put in. The outside, if you look at the decals outside, look at the staff. Look at the crew members. It's about bringing a professional attitude to the whole club and making everyone feel, look at Joe, this is pride to feel here. And it's not just a lick of paint, it's significant infrastructure investments, and we'll continue to do that. And we're really excited, and we want to bring you all along with that excitement. Tempered, measured, you know, we do it together. And do you know what? There's the key there. We win together, we'll win together. We lose together. But we'll always do it in the right way. We'll always do it with a positive attitude. And we'll always do it because we want to have the values that Southport have had since 1881. And we should all take pride in that. So thank you for coming up tonight. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. If anybody wants a prediction week for him, they're over there. So go and pick up